Welcome back to Movies TV Mad. You can follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad. I don't know about you fellow Doctor Who fans, but I'm still buzzing from yesterday's news that Russell T Davies will be the brand new showrunner of Doctor Who again from 2023. How exciting is that? Now, if everything in the garden was rosy and Russell announced he was coming back, I may think we're going backwards here. What's going on? Now, I think you all recognise one thing, that it seems one country club is only allowed to run Doctor Who. This group of fanboys who used to write Doctor Who fiction, who became creatives mainly via the BBC, seem to have a stranglehold on this franchise. And I would understand the concerns about that. But this is the very reason why Doctor Who is a bit of a mess, because it's not open to all creatives. So that has been utterly problematic. But listen, Russell T Davies is needed at this moment in time. He literally created the revival of Doctor Who. He world built the universe. He gave it this expansive Kevin Feige universe. He did it before Kevin Feige did it with the MCU. And ever since he stepped down, he's actually had to put out fire after fire. He famously once said when he got a phone call from a BBC News journalist, "Oh shit, what Stephen said this time." So he's been putting out fires for many, many years. Now, I said from the very beginning when he stepped down that he should remain in a godfather role, appointing the showrunners, moulding the clay of the Doctor Who universe while a showrunner runs the show day to day. This would have been sensible. And so what scenario are we looking at? We are looking at a transfer of power, because from here on fifth, while Russell T Davies is involved with Doctor Who again, the BBC will no longer have any say what happens with Doctor Who creatively. And you can know this by one thing, because Bad Wolf Productions are involved. So who runs Bad Wolf Productions? Jane Tranter, one of the best, producers, drama heads the BBC has ever had, and Julie Gardner, who was once the controller of drama at BBC Wales. These women were running drama at the BBC before it was cool, right, and progressive to have women in top jobs. They were actually there not because they were women, but because they were good at their jobs. So what you see here is a transfer of power, because Russell T Davies hasn't just come in and said, "Please BBC, let me have my job back." Oh no, he's gone there with Bad Wolf Productions and said, "You're in trouble here. You need us, and we want to take total control of Doctor Who." And this is what you are seeing. This is a transfer of power, because the BBC had no choice. So the BBC are basically saying, you know what? Just put our fucking logo on the credits and give us the money and we'll be fine. And the money's going to come rolling in. What Russell T Davies did initially with Doctor Who was sensational. He brought the franchise kicking and screaming into the 21st century. He never compellingly changed what Doctor Who was. As he famously said in one of the first episodes of Doctor Who Confidential, "I never wanted the TARDIS to become a Portaloo. It was always going to be a police box." He's a Doctor Who fanboy. He's the ultimate Doctor Who fanboy. Now let's talk about progressives within the BBC and people running Doctor Who. What are Russell T Davies' politics? Well, he's left. He's left wing, but he's not as extreme left wing as someone, for example, like Chris Chibnall. So he's not going to do certain things that you would expect people like Chris Chibnall to do. Now, a lot of people are saying they wouldn't be surprised if he casts another female Doctor. Personally, as I said yesterday, as we broke the news here on Movies TV Mad about Russell returning as showrunner of Doctor Who, I never had an issue with that. It doesn't matter who you cast as the Doctor. It doesn't matter what demographic they are, but they must have an understanding of the character. Since William Hartnell's day, the showrunner and the actor sit down together to create an original version of this character. Now, the problem with Doctor Who is because you constantly change the lead actor, it loses its identity, and you can lose the fans in that way. So you need one consistent factor. And this is why I said from the very beginning that Russell T Davies should have had a Godfather role after he stepped down as showrunner. This means he wouldn't have had to been there day to day. He could have still done his other projects, but he could have moulded the clay, as we discussed earlier in the video. They didn't do this. I believe that Doctor Who should be more open to people outside of the country club running this show. But at this moment in time, they're not. I also personally believe that Bad Wolf Productions should actually run Doctor Who here on for the rest of time. Because, as I said to Jane Tranter yesterday on Twitter, you have evidence that the way you run the show is the best way. They care about this character. They care about this universe. RTD is literally come in with Bad Wolf Productions, and I think if people don't understand what's going on here, they're not really paying attention. So as I just said, I don't mind the demographic, whoever it is who plays the Doctor. I don't mind. Black, white, Indian, Asian, it doesn't bother me. But here's the thing, I am not the chief fan of Doctor Who. I don't get to say what other people like or don't like. But we do live in a very, very sad reality that to many, many hundreds of thousands of people around the world, it does matter if a woman plays the Doctor. They're the facts. I'm not talking about myself, I'm talking about a lot of other fans, right? There are some people who only want a white man to play the Doctor, who do not want a woman to play the Doctor. These are the facts. We saw the reaction. The customer, the consumer rejected the female Doctor. Now, if the female Doctor was actually a great female Doctor, they would have had no choice but to accept it, because it wouldn't have been the popular noise to say a female Doctor didn't work. It's not that a female Doctor didn't work, by the way, it was this female Doctor didn't work. The actress is not a Doctor Who fan. She does not understand how Doctor Who works, and that's the difference. I don't think Matt Smith was a big Doctor Who fan, but he had an appreciation of the character. He understood the character and wanted to give it an original take, as Stephen Moffat. Whatever you say about Moffat, he has a great imagination, he's a great writer, and he's always original with everything he does. That's one thing I'll say about him. The problem is with Stephen Moffat's era is it had so many good things about it, so many, but he gets carried away with himself, and I think his creative process was destabilized when Matt Smith told him he was leaving. He lost Arthur, he lost Karen, he lost Matt, and once that happened, his vision for the show got tainted. And also I feel from his later seasons, from when Peter Capaldi came in, the BBC were interfering in the creative process of Doctor Who, and I think that's been the issue for a very long time now, and this is why Doctor Who simply hasn't worked. Now, as I say, it doesn't matter to me what demo plays the Doctor, but as I've just said, it matters to a hell of a lot of people, and that's wrong. What do I think Bad Wolf Production and Russell T Davies will do in terms of casting a Doctor, a companion? I believe Doctor Who, and I don't know how much money Doctor Who's lost for the BBC since Chris Chibnall's taken over and since the latter seasons of the Moffat era. I would say they've been losing a great deal of money, because under RTD they were making top dollar. This show was as huge as Game of Thrones, True Detective, the top shows in America when RTD was running it. And people will say to me, well, Stephen Moffat made it successful in America. There was a point when Stephen was originally running the show that it expanded to America and gained a popularity. But the truth is, and this is not something people seem to know that much, but Doctor Who has always had a fan base in America. It's not a new phenomenon. But what Russell T Davies was able to do with Doctor Who was get the broader television audience around the world interested, as well as Doctor Who fans automatically being there as well. Now, classic Who fans are a very difficult creature to please, understandably so. They come from a perspective where they want it to be like it was in the good old days, like all fans of long-running iconic properties do. But we've also got to understand that we are in 2021 and we've got to appeal to the new generation, or Doctor Who won't last. So there has to be a balance. And this is what Russell T Davies will do. A lot of people believe that Russell will make controversial decisions, that this isn't going to be like the good old days because the paradigm has shifted since then with audiences and what they want. But I think predominantly it's lost so much of the consumer that I don't think he's going to go too controversial. Now, you're going to ask me, do I think he's going to cast a male Doctor, a female Doctor, a Doctor of colour? I don't know. If anything, he may cast someone from the LGBTQ community, a gay Doctor or someone like that. But whatever he does, he will choose someone who's popular. So if he chooses a black Doctor, he will choose a black actor who's liked by the audience. Do you understand? One of the biggest mistakes when Jodie Whittaker was cast, her opening statement, and I've said it on this channel before, I'm a feminist. Don't be afraid of me, men. What a stupid couple of things to say for your opening statement. You know there's going to be a rebellion against a female Doctor being cast. You want that predominant male fan base to welcome you. You say the right things, right? I'm proud to be the first female Doctor, but the most important thing is that we service this character and these fans, and we bring new fans, and I'm so excited to get started on creating a new exciting original version of this character. What's so difficult about that, Jodie and Chris? But no, instead of shaving downwards, they shaved against the grain, because, you know, being progressive is important. Representing all walks of life is important, as long as those walks of life in the entertainment industry are still talented, right? That's the most important thing. But it is a problem. It is a problem within the Doctor Who community. There's no question about that. There are people blatantly who do not want a female Doctor and only want a white male. It is problematic, of course it is. I'm sad that we live in that type of world. I genuinely am, and if you disagree with me, that's fine. Be constructive in the comments down below. But we are in that world, and they are in a situation now that Doctor Who is down in the dumps. And let's not forget, this is Russell T Davies' legacy we are talking about. He set this whole thing up and then they pissed on it. They pissed on it and they ruined it. And he wasn't just going to sit there and allow that to happen. As he said yesterday, it's his favourite show. He wasn't just going to allow them to keep on destroying his favourite show. He said that Jodie Whittaker's a great Doctor, that Chris Chibnall's his hero, right? And he's a great writer. A lot of those things he doesn't actually believe, but he's got to service the actual content, because somehow, hopefully now, with his inclusion as a showrunner, people can relax a bit and just embrace Chris's last part of his era. I will be, but I've never stopped watching Doctor Who because I'm a fan. And even though I haven't agreed with everything Chibnall's done, I still think there's elements of what he's done that have been great. The production values have improved 100%. The kind of camera work, stunt work, VFX has improved a milestone. So what do I think Russell T Davies will do? Well, yes, Murray Gold has to return. Murray Gold should never have been removed from Doctor Who. I mean, my top two composers are, what's his name, Hans Zimmer and Junkie XL. I think they're two of the best composers in the world, and I think Murray Gold isn't far away from them. The music he delivered, especially during the RTD era, was sensational, and a lot of the Moffat era. The problem is that I think composers need to be inspired, and a lot of people started criticising Murray's music near the end of the Moffat era. I didn't have an issue with it because I think he's fantastic, but you could tell from some of his work that he wasn't as inspired with the storytelling as he was in the RTD era, and that's obvious. There is no reason why Murray Gold shouldn't come back, and let's be honest, Russell T Davies pretty much uses Murray Gold for everything he does. I know that he used him for years and years, so that's one thing you can expect, and I can expect the return of Murray Gold as the Doctor Who composer. What would I like to come back that Russell used to do? I want Doctor Who Confidential to come back. That was a Russell T Davies and Bad Wolf Productions idea. I think they'll do that again. It works. It helps to sell the show and create more excitement. Doctor Who Confidential was amazing. I don't think we will hear any kind of conversations about spin-offs. I think what they've got to do from the beginning is focus on Doctor Who and focus on the Doctor. Get the Doctor's ship sailing with a balance rather than drowning and kind of swaying around. But there is a question of John Barrowman. John Barrowman dropped his kecks, and he was totally naked, and he was cancelled for it, allegedly. I don't know the details of this. So it seems like he said on Twitter actually that he's been blacklisted by the BBC. But as I said to you earlier, the BBC are no longer running Doctor Who. Bad Wolf Productions are. You can take that to the bank. The conversations that I've had with very important people in the industry, you can take this to the bank. So this is why you should subscribe to my channel. Now, you may not recognize me, I may not use HD cameras, but I am connected to the industry. I do know what I'm talking about. So if you want strong opinion that you can interact with, that I don't shout down, I will never tell you that your Doctor Who opinion is not valid. Unlike most YouTubers out there, it's very disappointing that we don't have YouTubers who speak with the fans, not for the fans, but with the fans, and allow fans to have a say. I want this to be a channel, not just for Doctor Who fans, DC fans, all types of fans. I love interacting and meeting brand new, interesting people. So, what will happen to John Barrowman? I have no doubt in my mind that John Barrowman will return as Captain Jack Harkness in the RTD era. Noel Clarke will have no involvement. What Noel Clarke did was despicable, allegedly, right? I can't prove those accusations right or wrong. But what I heard he did was despicable. It's unforgivable. He must never be allowed to work in the industry again. But because the industry is so corrupt, he will be back. But, you'll never see him back again. But also, I don't want us to go over old ground. I want Russell, maybe Russell will want to continue strands from the end of time, like the reveal of the Doctor's mother. Now, it was never confirmed she was the Doctor's mother, but maybe we'll have a bit more of that as well. And so, I think what you'll see is he will be expansive. He will be expansive, and he will tell his own brand new stories, but maybe he'll touch on things he used in the past, because Russell's a very consistent, predictable storyteller. He can also be unpredictable, but he has a certain way of working. That brings in the comfort zone of the fans, because this is why we trust him and Bad Wolf Productions, because we know how they're going to work, and we know they have the Doctor's best interests at heart. So as I say, it's a balancing act, and it was under RTD's era, of balancing pleasing the classic fans and the new, younger audiences. Now, Stephen Moffat did a lot of things, by the way, to kind of please the classic fans, and they weren't always pleased with him. You can't always please the older fan base, you can't, because there is money to be made here from a younger, broader audience. And this is why Russell's been brought back, to bring a balance, to bring people back to Doctor Who. His name will certainly do that. So I think in this instance, there was no other decision but to bring back Russell T Davies as Doctor Who showrunner. It's something that truly, truly excites me. But what excites me even more, something I've already mentioned, is that Russell T Davies and Bad Wolf Productions are 100% in control of this IP. And so I implore you, embrace what Chibnall's doing. Just watch it, because you know now that in 2023 Doctor Who will be back in the right hands. And of course, it's a very exciting future, because, you know, we really didn't know what was going to happen. Some people feeling that it might be cancelled, that it needed a break. Doctor Who doesn't need a break. It just needs to be, you know, led by someone who gets it, who gets the audience. At the end of the day, you need customers, you need viewers, you need consumers. You can't just make this stuff for yourself. But as a showrunner, you're going to do stuff that means something to you, which is fine. But you've also got to do stuff that brings butts on seats. Otherwise, what are we all doing here? Why do we spend hours writing and being creative if we're only doing it for ourselves? The Doctor is a great character, and there's so much potential with this character. And Russell, in the past, for his 5 years, in his era, fulfilled a lot of the potential. I believe in Russell. I don't believe this appointment is going backwards. Russell T Davies is a fixer, and he's going to fix this show again for the better and give it a great future. I'm Mick, your host with the most. Just ask your girlfriends and your wives, and I will see you again in the next video. Like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you never miss this perfection, and I'll see you again soon.